Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria are most likely going to be fighting for the lightweight belt next as both of their matchups. And I'm probably one of the only people who don't want to see this matchup now. Okay, this matchup has literally got potential to revolutionize the sport in such ways. Like this could easily be the biggest matchup, one of the biggest matchups UFC has ever made. Okay, this has definitely potential to be behind Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, the biggest fight the UFC can make. But bro, Ilia Topuria has one title defense. Okay, I'm not. Listen, if this matchup gets booked, of course I'm going to be like, fuck yeah. Like we're all going to watch, and I of course I'm going to watch. But there's so much more the UFC can do before putting on this matchup. Okay, for Ilia, let's say let's start off with Ilia. You have Mosvar Evloev, who's undefeated. They were booked previously. Okay, it's not exactly an exciting matchup as regards. Mosvar's not going to go in there with the chance of knocking Ilia out. Okay, Ilia's going to win that fight, but still, it's a title defense. Ilia's only defended the belt once. Once. Okay, how many times have we seen fighters have to defend it? Volk, I think, had to defend it, against Holloway twice, Brian Ortega, the Korean Zombie, and then had to move up and fight Islam Makhachev. I want to see Ilia defend the belt more. Okay, I just want to see Ilia defend the belt more. He's got one title defense, okay? And Ilia can definitely beat Makhachev. Like, it's a very good matchup, and it's a very good matchup to where that's close. I'm going to pick Islam Makhachev. Okay, I am going to pick him because I think he's on insane momentum, and he's just fucking beast. Like, I think Makhachev's an absolute beast, but I want to see both of them do a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? I don't really see the need to rush these guys into it. This isn't fucking boxing. Okay, this is not boxing to where like the big fights need to be made now, or one of them might lose or something like that. Like Makhachev will more than likely beat Arman Tsarukyan. I hate to break it to you if you're an Arman Tsarukyan fan or you were picking Arman Tsarukyan, Makhachev is probably going to win. Okay? There's no one, look, he fucking ran through Renato Moicano like it was fucking nothing, bro. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's only Moicano, blah, blah, blah. That is still an absolutely great win. That's prime Moicano with a full training camp, and it was on the best momentum of his career. You can't discredit that kind of a win. You cannot discredit that kind of a win. He fucked Charles Oliveira bad. He ran through Charles Oliveira, okay, and that was prime Charles Oliveira. I think Oliveira is a little bit different now to where like he's more kind of like he's going to go in there and try and defend himself rather than just go in there, get killed or be killed. Okay, he's playing a lot more of the defensive game. Maybe that CTE is catching up to him or some shit like that, but then you have the Volkanovski first fight, which is one of the most underrated wins in Makhachev's career. I have said this for a time, okay? That was an absolutely banging win. No one ever gives him credit for. Because, oh yeah, this is the little guys. Fuck off! Okay? That was Makhachev versus Volk in Australia in February. So it's about 2 years ago now. And he had literally fought in October. Okay? Makhachev needs to be a little bit more active. I want to see, Dana White has come out and said he's not going to give Arman Tsarukyan the matchup straight away. Which we can all be kind of like, you know what? I understand it. He did shit the bed the day before and pull out. You can't really be pulling out fights the day before and expect to get a title shot straight away. It's just not how it happens. Do you know what I mean? It's just not how this works. But let's say they do book the Arman fight. If he beats Arman Tsarukyan, okay, why isn't Makhachev looking at moving up? Everyone, like, how many times are we going to see featherweights just move up and fight Makhachev? It's fucking bullshit, okay? Ilia has more work to do in his division. The fella's got one title defense. You've got Diego Lopez out there, Moswell, like I said, and you deserve to give Volkanovski the rematch, okay? As much as people don't want to say it, don't want to see it, Volk deserves that rematch. How many times has he defended the belt? How many times has he come clutch for the UFC? He took Makhachev on short notice when Oliveira pulled out. He deserves that rematch. Okay, if it was any other champion, they'd be getting an immediate rematch. And I know Ilia knocked him out, okay? I actually rewatched that first fight. I probably gave the first round to Volk. Okay, I'm just being honest. I probably would give that first round to Volk. Volk actually looked good. He just got caught. He does this thing where he throws like a kick and then has his chin up in the fucking air. All day against that cage, Ilia's going to find your chin. All day. Okay, and he found it. We saw that with Holloway and with Volkanovski. Ilia does his best work up against the cage. It was a fucking recipe for disaster for Volk, okay? But you still have to give him the rematch. You can't sit here and say, oh, well, we don't need to see it. How many times have we said that? I said the exact same thing about O'Malley versus fucking Sterling. Okay, and Sugarman in there and shinned him. I literally remember being like, I might even watch this fight. It's going to be an absolute breeze. Okay, you can't really count Volkanovski out in every single fight. You know what I mean? The Makhachev fights and the Ilia fights and the Max fights. You know what I mean? You kind of have to give him a little bit of credit here, but the Diego Lopez fight makes a lot of sense. Volk and Lopez are apparently fighting for the interim belt. Why? I don't fucking know. Lopez actually could win that fight, but, you know, I'll probably pick Volkanovski in that fight, to be honest with you. Like, he's been out for a year now. I think he's going to be fully healed from that KO. And he's sharp, man. Volkanovski's sharp. He's not an ordinary fighter, like Renato Moicano said. Like, this dude is one of the greatest fighters ever. Okay, one of the greatest fighters ever. You breeze through Max Holloway, not breeze, but you beat Max Holloway 3 times. You beat Brian Ortega. You beat Yair Rodriguez. You beat Chad Mendes. You beat Jose Aldo. That is an insane featherweight resume. Insane. Okay, and his only loss in featherweight is to Topuria. I don't think Lopez beats him. Okay. Movsar Evloev beat Lopez on really short notice. That's also a matchup that could happen. I don't really give a shit about that fucking fight, if I'm being completely honest with you. Movsar is the worst fucking style I've ever seen, okay? Arnold Allen beat him, but regardless what anyone fucking says, that was an absolute robbery. I don't care about that fight. Movsar is just, I don't care about any of Movsar's fights. I'll be real. I don't care about it. He's just a boring fighter with no personality that no one cares about. Simple. But someone like Lopez goes in there and he fucking ends people. Okay, this dude goes in there and fucking starches people. They ain't getting up when Lopez is in that cage. And that's why I think a lot of people like Diego Lopez, is that Brian Ortega is incredibly hard to finish. By incredibly hard to finish, I mean you're not finishing Brian Ortega. Okay? You're just not finishing him. And the fact he did so well against Ortega in moments, like, it wasn't a mad, entertaining, back and forth scrap. Like, he nearly got him out of there in the first, but man, who hasn't nearly got Brian Ortega out there in the first, okay? Featherweight has matchups. We don't need to see Ilia Topuria move up just yet, okay? He has work to do. And I understand you took out Volkanovski and you took out Max Holloway. That doesn't grant you fucking shit to be able to say, oh yeah, I'm moving up, I'm next in 9. No. Islam has contenders. Like the Arman Sriku fight probably is the only fight he can really make at lightweight. Let's be completely honest with you. I suggested Ilia versus Arman. Okay, then fucking Beneil Dariush came along on MMA Junkie or some shit like that and stole my idea. Fuck that. Fuck you, Beneil Dariush. Fuck you, that was bullshit. Okay? I wouldn't even be mad if you do Arman versus Max. Arman Saric and Max Holloway is a fucking scrap. I'm not necessarily saying that has to be a number one contender fight, but, you know, Max Holloway knocked out Gaethje at lightweight. And I know he got knocked out by Topuria, but that wasn't at lightweight. Okay, he's starting fresh now. If he goes in there and you put on in your lightweight kind of run of Gaethje, Arman Tsarukyan, and then put in a Charles Oliveira in there, who wouldn't like to see Max versus Makhachev? Like, that's a good fight. I think both these guys have work to do before we book this fight. Even one fucking defense more. Like, you can build this fight so much better than just announcing it randomly. Okay? Let's say Topuria fights Falk during the summer, and then Makhachev fights during the summer as well. Do like an in-face-to-face cage face-off. Okay? When they both win, if they both win. Really build this fight, and then you put it in the Bernabeu Stadium. Okay? That's how you fucking do it. Don't put this as the main event versus International Fight Week with, like, Pantoja versus Kai Kara France as the co-main event. Like, that would be fucking tragic. Okay? Absolutely fucking tragic. You could build this fight so much better if they keep winning and you keep promoting it. Okay? That's what I think about this whole fight. Like, if this fight is booked tomorrow, of course I'm going to be excited. Who isn't going to be excited? It's a fucking banger. How does the fight go? I think Makhachev will be a little bit too big. I think he'll be a little bit too kind of slick, but Ilia can definitely find that chin. Makhachev gets hit sometimes, you know, a good bit of the time. And I think if Ilia can find that chin, I'd be very interested to see. We saw this with, like, McGregor. Does that power really transcend to a different division? Okay? I'm not saying Makhachev has a bad chin, because he really doesn't. But he's definitely hittable. Okay, he's been knocked out before, but that was fucking years ago, so I'm not saying, oh, he's chinny or anything like that, because, you know, you get caught once, okay? Boo fucking who? Like, how many fighters have got caught before? Do you know what I mean? And people won't say they have a bad chin, but, like, I just think Makhachev is definitely a little bit too big. I think the grappling is going to be a massive effect in this fight. Like, we saw it with Volkanovski. The grappling kind of won him the fight, and no one's really kind of went in there and held Ilia down. Like, Bryce Mitchell got Ilia down, I think, at the end of the first round and kind of did a little bit of work there, but he ended up getting submitted. Like, Ilia hasn't really faced, like, a proper blanket wrestler, okay? So we don't really know. Obviously, you're going to say, oh, I back Ilia to get back to his feet, and so do I, but, like, you don't really know. Do you know what I mean? And I think if you're moving up and fighting the pound for pound best fighter in the world, who's known for his grappling, that's a fucking bit of a recipe for disaster. Okay, that's a bit of a recipe for disaster. And I think Makhachev would be too good. And, you know, he might have combinations on the feet to be able to set up his takedowns. I think that's what Makhachev does insanely well and insanely underrated for, is his combinations on the feet. You're so caught up with that takedown. He's got such slick boxing to where he's actually able to do damage on the feet, and you're thinking about a takedown. That's why I rate Makhachev so highly. He does everything insanely good. Okay? And there's not one area I'm looking at this where I'm like, Ilia beats him. I don't think he's going to be able to outstrike him simply because he's going to be worried about the takedown. Now, if it gets into striking exchanges and Makhachev's like, fuck this, I want to stand, A, that would be an absolutely terrible idea. And B, 100% Topuria can fucking find chins. His combinations up against the cage are second to none. Second to none. Okay? That's an amazing fight, of course. But I think, obviously, John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is the number one fight in the UFC right now. That's the fight everyone's talking about. That's the fight everyone wants to see. There's no real other fight where I'm like, that's the biggest fight in the promotion. If John Jones and Tom Aspinall fight, which I think they will, you know what I mean? I reckon that will happen during the summer. This is the next big thing. This is the next big fight. You know, Ilia's probably pound number 3. Islam's pound number 1. The last time we actually had a pound number 1 versus like a pound number 3 or 4 was Makhachev versus Volk. I'm pretty sure. You know, these guys are massively high in the pound rankings, and build the fight. Don't just announce it randomly, especially when, you know, Topuria has matchups that can happen. Let them happen first, build up the hype, and make him a bigger star. Because if Makhachev goes in there and beats him, you're dead in a bit of his hype. Let's be real. Like, he's lost hype if Makhachev goes in there and beats him. And Makhachev gains absolutely nothing. Okay? I was going to say, oh yeah, this dude's just a fucking weight bully, beating up another little guy. That's the shit that is going to be said. Okay? And it fucking is so annoying. Let Makhachev and Ilia do their thing in their division. When the time is right and there's no new contenders, then you build that fight to what it could be. And what it should be, bro. That is an insanely big fight. Okay? And who knows, Makhachev might move up. Belal said he's not going to fight Makhachev. Well, then fuck off. Okay? No one wants you with the belt anyway, so might as well just vacate it. And let Makhachev fight Shavkat for the belt. Obviously, you know, I'm only taking the piss, but like, you could even see like a Shavkat Islam if Belal loses to Shavkat. I think as soon as Belal loses the belt, the first defense of the new welterweight champion will be Makhachev. I do think that's going to happen, but I don't know, man. I kind of want to talk about this fight because it's being hinted at, and like I actually think they will book this fight next. But I'm just like, man, you could do so much better. Like, you could do so much better with the promotion and everything. Like, the hype could be through the fucking roof. Because if you announce John Jones versus Aspinall, okay, in the time frame that fight is happening, everyone's going to be talking about that. Everyone's going to be talking about that. Like, Bones is back. Bones. Fuck off with John Bones Jones, okay? I'm not even going to get started on him, okay? Do it smart, UFC. Just do it fucking smart, okay? Like, subscribe, all that good shit. I'll see you on the next one. Maybe I won't. Who cares?